Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun fold card. It does fold flat to fit in an envelope, and it has some great 3D effects on it, and it does open up as a regular card. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. Just wanted to point out this adorable image here is from the Storybook Friends. This is a great little set. It has the Designer Series paper has dies that punch out, and then you also get the stamps and the dies that coordinate with that paper. These 3 frames are amazing. You can get some great results with those as well. So I wanted to point that out. It is available currently. I believe it is in the mini catalog that ends in April. So today we are going to be using similar Designer Series paper, but I am using the Happy Hibiscus bundle. This is an online exclusive. It has the stamps, the dies, and the 3D embossing folder, which is just gorgeous. So you can actually cut out the images from the embossing folder with the dies as well as the stamps. It is a 2-step stamped set, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. It does also come with this little piece here, which I'm going to use in the center mechanism. Okay, so getting back to the card, we have a piece of cardstock that measures 8 inches by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 inches. We have 2 pieces of white cardstock that measure 5 3/8 by 3 7/8, and one's going to go on the inside and one's going to go on the outside. I'm just going to go ahead and put the outside piece on now. And we have a piece of Designer Series paper. This measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, and then I started with a piece of base cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 4.5. So this was all one piece. So it was 5 1/4 by 4.5. And along the long side, so along this side, you're going to score it at 7/8 inches and 1 3/4 inch. And then you're going to rotate that and do the same thing on the other side. So 7/8 and 1 3/4 inches from both sides. And then on the short side, you're going to cut those into 1.5 inch strips. So you'll end up with 3 pieces like that. Okay, and then these are going to be folded as a valley fold, mountain, mountain, valley. Just like that, all 3 of those are going to be the same. And you have a whole bunch of little pieces here. So if you want to, you can skip the mats and just use Designer Series paper. You would just use, the Designer Series paper would just be cut the same size as the mats. So instead of cutting the white, you would cut the Designer Series paper into 3/4 inch by 1 3/8. And if you want to use the Designer Series paper along with the mats, you're going to cut 12 pieces that measure 5/8 by 1 1/4. So again, you need, if you're going to use the mats, you're going to use 12 pieces, 3/4 inch by 1 3/8. Designer Series paper, you're going to do 12 pieces that measure 5/8 by 1 1/4 inch. And then we're just going to glue all those into these little areas on the center mechanism. Okay, so we also have 3 pieces of basic white that measure 2 1/8 by 1 3/8. and designer series paper that measures 2 inches by 1 1/4. And those are going to go in these center panels here. Okay, so now all we have to do is attach our panels. And what you want to do is put glue on this first tab here. We're going to match that up right at the top and right at the edge. Just going to go ahead and do that all the way down. Now this one I'm actually going to put down at the bottom. That way it's a little bit easier for me to see where the center is to put my middle panel. Just going to eyeball it. Like so. And then I'm going to lift this up and put glue right down on this last panel. And going to attach it. But I'm also going to fold this down just to make sure that my fold lines are going to go all the way down and my section is glued down properly. You want to make sure that that's going to fold all the way down to fit into an envelope. Again, I'm laying it right next to the edge of the card. This card is a little bit smaller than it's not quite as wide as a normal card. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room if your edges are going over a little bit. Okay, so there is my completed front of the card, at least with the mechanism on it. So now I'm going to take this little extender piece that I cut from my dies, and I'm just using that to kind of give a little bit of support to these flowers that I cut out. So again, these are the Happy Hibiscus set. And what I had done was I stamped the items first. So I did the 2-step stamping, which just means that you stamp your outline first with the dark color, and then you stamp with the lighter color on top of it. So let me show how I did that with the leaves. So just going to take my line image first. Stamp that. Then I'll take my bolder image and I'm going to stamp that off to get a lighter color. And I'm stamping it on some extra white paper so that I can just die cut these out and use them as is. A lot of times I'll just stamp it on scratch paper, but I figure if I have to stamp an image, I might as well stamp it and use it for something. So that's what I'm doing this time. So there is that stamped image, the 2-step stamping, just with one ink pad. This is Old Olive. And then I can go ahead and die cut those out. You can also put it through the flowers. You can also put it through your embossing folder to get dimension on that as well. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. You can see that dimension on there. So very pretty set, very versatile, has some great sayings in it as well. So I'm just going to die cut these out. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and attach my center piece here to give it some stability. just like so. And I'll put these like that. I'm just going to slip these leaves in right in between. Like so. And then I already stamped my greeting, but I did a little mess up there. So I'm going to put this little one right down here and just cover that up. Just like so. There's that completed card. Hope you enjoyed that. I do need to put something on the inside. So I'm going to put this one right in the inside here. If you enjoyed my tutorial and would like to support me, feel free to do so by shopping with Melinda Pierce at www.stampinup.net.com. I would appreciate the support, and feel free to like, share, and follow my page. I would appreciate that. All right, hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye-bye.